How far off are we from the coordinates?
A couple hours at least.
Tim, did you get one?
All right, we are in the rattlesnake spot now, but what's a little more eerie is that I think we are also in the den of a bear or maybe fox. Look at that defensive pose. That is strike mode at its finest.
The hills of West Virginia hide within their peaks and valleys a plethora of animal species. In fact, this wild and wonderful state is one of the most biodiverse regions in the eastern U.S. On this adventure, I will be teaming up with my longtime friend and field herpetologist, Tim Brust. Tim is a backwoods bloodhound when it comes to tracking down reptiles and amphibians. The last time we worked together, he helped us find the elusive hellbender, one of the nation's most cherished salamander species.
We got him! There it is! It is an absolute giant!
That was the hardest hellbender catch I've ever had.
Wow! Oh, man.
Today we are hot on the trail of the Timber Rattlesnake. Hailing as one of the largest venomous snakes in North America, these pit vipers are masters of camouflage. So finding one hidden amongst the rocky crevices and outcrops will be an arduous challenge.
There's a tree down in the middle of the road that I'm gonna help Tim move.
The task required us to travel deep into West Virginia's wilderness as we pushed our vehicle to its safest limits.
Oh no. All right, we may not be going any further than this. Literally just got done talking about how we got past the toughest area of rocky terrain, and we have now turned the corner. Are you kidding me? I think we're gonna be able to get past this, but it's the next bend that looks even more difficult. Look at that. Total rock slide that came down off the mountain and to this. So the Jeep should be able to get over this, no problem. It's just a matter of what is up and around the corner. How far off are we from the coordinates?
A couple hours at least.
Okay, so we have made a decision at this point. We were thinking about going over the mountain and up that rock slide right there. Way too treacherous with cameras. So what we're gonna do now is go on foot down the roadway, and it is roughly 2 miles as the crow flies to get to these spots that Tim has GPS coordinated where snakes have been seen. For us, it's gonna be more than 2 miles. It's gonna be probably close to a 4 or 5 hour hike to get to the spot. So it is going on 11 o'clock now. With any luck, what's gonna happen is we're gonna reach the snake spot when they're doing their second basking for the day, which will be somewhere between 4 and 6 o'clock p.m. It's gonna be a commitment, but this is what it takes to find the Timber Rattlesnake.
All right, well, we found potentially the location based on Tim's phone, and he thinks maybe 300 yards down this little kind of valley is the spot. We're gonna scout it. With any luck, we're gonna actually see the location.
We just need to really know an entry point. The foliage is all so dense, whether it's trees or these scrublands and grasses. Unless you can see exactly where to go down it, you could just be descending into a ravine. So scouting with the drone is definitely giving us a bird's eye perspective of the terrain before we even embark upon heading down into it.
I think this is it. This is all on that slope.
What are you seeing? Oh,
See that?
that is all rock right there.
Open, rocky
Yes.
outcrop.
Can you get lower to see the size of those rocks though?
Yeah, I'm just gonna try to.
Oh yeah, man, that's gotta be it. Look at that, that's all rocky terrain. I think we found it.
We found a spot, and I think Tim found a spot.
Okay.
He's been yelling at us, so I don't know what that means. I can't really hear him.
Maybe he has a snake?
Maybe he's got a snake.
Okay, well, let's pack up the drone. This is great. We have spent hours searching out rocky outcrops, and now we possibly have 2 potentials. One we saw on the drone, and one that Tim is calling us to come towards.
Tim, did you get one?
Wow. This is it right here. Perfect Timber Rattlesnake habitat. Now it's just a matter of searching and finding. What do you think, Mario?
Do you see how unique this habitat is? It's overgrown with some vegetation, but it also still allows for some exposed rocks so they can come out and bask. It's kind of the best of both worlds.
Okay, so basically you need to spend some time searching these rocks for snakes. It's a nice den here. Any one of these big rocks that has almost a miniaturized cave underneath it is exactly the kind of spot that we want to be looking. Now the best spots are going to be rocks exposed to the sun, part shade, so that when the sun comes out, the snake can come and warm itself up, and then when it gets too hot, it can go hunker back down in the shade. Oh, nice. What you got?
You got a little fence lizard. What's really cool about these guys is the males. Oh.
Don't fall off the cliff.
Don't lose the lizard, don't fall off the cliff. What's cool about these fence lizards is they look kind of drab in their dorsal, but on their ventrals, look at that, really beautiful. It's a nice blue. Awesome. These guys are really fast moving. I'm surprised I actually caught them. Beautiful little specimen. I'm gonna put him down. Watch him take off. There he goes. All right, let's try to catch a rattlesnake.
All right, we are in the rattlesnake spot now, but what's a little more eerie is that I think we are also in the den of a bear or maybe fox. There are bones, chunks of meat, and also some vomit, like vomited flesh. And back within here are a bunch of small pathways. And it's an area like this over here where you're usually the most nervous. You don't want to just stumble upon something that is hiding in the underbrush. Okay, I'm gonna head back over where Tim and Mario were, and we're going to keep looking for rattlesnakes. But I don't think it gets much more dangerous than this. Rattlesnakes and a potential bear den. Okay, we are on the side of a mountain in the middle of nowhere, West Virginia right now. We have descended, I'd say close to 800, maybe 1,000 feet. And it's impossible to tell on the GoPro, but if you look out through there, you can see the open expanse of wilderness. It is beautiful, but the terrain is extremely difficult. When you look up back behind me, you can see all this rocky terrain that we have come down through. We've gotten to the point now where we've been out here for so many hours, we're thinking we need to turn back, because if we don't, we may not get to the vehicle, which then has to drive all the way down the mountain back to civilization before the sun sets. There's always the chance of finding a snake on the way back up, but at this point, we may have reached the juncture of failure. No rattlesnakes on our rattlesnake expedition, which is discouraging, but it still has been a really fun time out here exploring the backcountry of West Virginia.
It's not often that a target species manages to elude us. Yet after many hours of searching, we still hadn't seen a single rattlesnake. Then on our way back to the Jeep, we came upon a slithering surprise that we didn't expect.
Tim just called out that he found a copperhead. No rattlesnakes yet, but this is a great opportunity.
Did it go under?
I think I can lift it though.
Okay.
Here he is.
Grab him quick. All right, bag.
All right, we got a copperhead. Definitely cannot work with or present this snake on the side of this hill though, so let's take it up here and get a closer look. Okay, this is better. Now we can actually stand. Okay, let's find a good open flat spot here right behind you with this rock. I'm gonna just gently fold the edges down and let it slither out a bit on its own. There we go. Everybody just be on high alert. Snake is coming out. There he is. Okay, whoa. Copperheads do have a tendency to be rather spastic. Very quick snake. Okay, let me just kind of bounce it up on the snake hook like this. Ooh, struck at your camera there.
Look at that defensive pose. That is strike mode at its finest right there. These are very fast striking snakes. It's definitely a species you always want to be cognizant of when you're in the environment. They're so perfectly camouflaged. Now, to really get a better look at this snake, there's a method that we can use to actually handle it called tubing, where the front of the snake will go inside of a plastic tube, and that will allow me to handle the snake without the risk of being bitten. And Copperhead's staying rather calm right now, which is great. It's exactly what we want. Look at that. Now, it's really important that I keep one hand on the snake and the tube at the exact same time. What we don't want to happen is for the copperhead to wiggle out backwards and inflict a bite. That is so cool. What a beautiful reptile. Now, while the copperhead is a pit viper, it is not a rattlesnake. However, like rattlesnakes, they will sometimes wiggle just the tip of their tail against leaf litter, alerting any potential predator or even a human that, hey, if I've been spotted, I'm here in the environment and you don't want to get any closer. Now, people oftentimes confuse non-venomous snake species with copperheads or water moccasins. And you can see that very distinct banding that runs down the length of the body. It looks just like the banding on a younger northern water snake. And even the underside, the underbelly, that slight checkered patterning and the design on the dorsal scale pattern almost looks like a fox snake, another completely harmless species. So this snake does have a rather negative reputation, but as long as you don't try to interact with the snake in the environment, all it wants to do is stay completely hidden from humans. Now, when it comes to venom toxicity, this is a dangerous snake. It is not a reptile you would ever want to be bitten by. But when it comes to the venomous snakes in the United States, this is on the lower end of potency, right? So a water moccasin, which is a much larger snake, is gonna have a higher venom yield when it bites you, especially when it comes to rattlesnakes. An eastern diamondback, a timber rattlesnake, a western diamondback, bigger snake means a larger venom yield. You can see the size of this snake's head is rather small, which means it has smaller venom glands. But keep in mind, it's all about how your body reacts to venom. Just recently, somebody in Alabama was bitten by a copperhead and they died from anaphylactic shock. A bite from a snake like a copperhead could mean the end of your life. Well, we didn't manage to find our target, the timber rattlesnake, but that's okay. We still came across one of West Virginia's most iconic pit vipers, the copperhead, and getting it up close, testing out this method of tubing, totally made the adventure worthwhile. Now, before we release it right back where we found it, what I actually want to do is place it in the leaf litter to show you just how camouflaged this snake truly is.
Most people do their best to avoid interactions with snakes. A smart state of mind, especially if the species is venomous. Suffice it to say, snakes think exactly the same and do their absolute best to avoid humans. If you find yourself exploring in an area that is known to inhabit venomous snakes, your safest plan of action is to wear sturdy hiking boots, stick to well-worn trails, and most importantly, pay attention to where you are walking, and you should be completely safe.
Okay, we're gonna let the copperhead slither right back out of the snake bag. Perfect. Look at that. I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave. Stay wild. We'll see you on the next adventure.
Hey Coyote Pack, do you know the difference between a venomous and a non-venomous snake? If not, make sure to check out the episode where I show you the distinction between a water moccasin and a water snake. And don't forget, subscribe and click the notification bell so you can join me and the crew on our next big adventure.
Check that out. That is a broad-banded water snake. Woo!